So I'd like to welcome up the two people who are giving this sermon today. They are Cindy van der Stok and Aryan. They've just recently become the new Sunday service coordinators, so let's give them a big hand.
Okay, hi again, if you're not tired of my face. I'm actually going to do the first part of this sermon. This is going to be nice, short and sweet, so don't worry, we've received a lot of content already, actually. I already feel renewed. I'm just going to keep this short. I'll introduce myself. My name is Cindy van der Stok, I'm 20 years old, and like Auntie Helen has just said, myself and Aryan have just become the new Sunday service coordinators for the Central London sub-region of North of Thames. I'm just, for my part of this talk, I'm going to give a kind of like a personal reflection of why I'm part of this community and why I choose to be involved. We have this title here, Giving Freely and Receiving Gratefully, which is something, title myself and Aryan agreed on. I'm kind of not going to address that title directly, but kind of in a roundabout way by talking through different realizations and thoughts that I have. Hopefully I can give some kind of perspective on this title, and obviously Aryan will also talk about it in his own way. As you all definitely know, before myself and Aryan have become coordinators, Kieran was our coordinator for a very long time. He worked super hard, and so just reflecting on this new role that I've taken up, kind of thinking about what's happened before me, how I've been brought up in this community, what I've experienced, what I've learnt. And shortly after I heard that Kieran was stepping down, I basically had this experience where I wasn't thinking about it consciously, but I had this experience where I woke up one morning and I had this really strong feeling that I should put myself forward. And it was the kind of like time of morning where I wasn't really having thoughts yet, so I knew it wasn't me. You're sort of half asleep, you're not thinking in full sentences yet. So the fact that I had this strong feeling, I should put myself forward, I knew it had to be God kind of speaking to me and telling me that this was the right thing to do. I felt like I couldn't say no to that. I felt, no matter how much I tried to ignore that feeling, I felt like, I can't say no to that. I felt like it would be sort of me saying no to God. So I was just reflecting on that and thinking that, the reason that I received that feeling and that I followed through with that sort of intuition is that, A, because it seems that I've invested enough in my relationship with God to be able to receive that kind of intuition, and B, I took action based on this commitment that I've already made to this community and to God in my life. So I felt that, or I've seen so far in my short life, that wherever I've put commitment and investment, I've always received value from that. And so then looking at, taking this role and investing more in this community, I felt, regardless of anything difficult that I might experience or, new uncomfortable things that I might come across, I know that I'm going to receive value from doing this. So commitment and investment. Commitment is a very personal thing. I feel like I would assume that the reason everyone's here is because of a personal commitment they've made in their lives, based on your own personal values. You have values that you decided on in your life, things you've committed to, and as a byproduct, you're making choices and taking action on things in your life. So, no one can really force you to go anywhere or be a certain way or be a certain person, but I feel like the reason that you're all here and so many of you have been part of this community for so long is because of this strong commitment, and I feel like it's important for me to cultivate that as I see the people around me doing. I realised that it's important for me to remain loyal and committed to things in my life in order for me to live a life of value. Committing myself to this community is one example of that. And I realised that value comes to me when I focus on what I can give to the community rather than what it might be able to give to me. And I want to have that attitude of being ready to create something good rather than just being passive and expecting something good, although the community has already given me so many good things, even as I've been part of it passively. But yeah, I would want to say I'm at a point in my life where I want to be active in that and feel that true sense of value and fulfillment that I've been a part of this, and that I can return what I've been given. Yeah, I'm just going to give some quotes from True Parents throughout this short talk. So, True Father says, "Giving creates room for God's love to enter. Your concern should be how to give and how to give well. As for the return to you, you must trust in God. He will take care of it." I actually, this quote, obviously it's from a speech of True Fathers, but I took this quote from my ODP Plus Hyundai booklet. So this summer, in August, I went on ODP Plus in Germany, and they gave us a Hyundai booklet, which was quite thick. We didn't read all of it throughout that 10-day workshop, but I found that really valuable because they put readings in it that we could still look through afterwards. And so, yeah, I've been reading it daily to sort of finish that. And this is one point that I took from an excerpt they put in from True Father's words. "Your concern should be how to give and how to give well. As for the return to you, you must trust in God. He will take care of it." This, yeah, as I was saying, this kind of attitude that value comes to me when I focus on what I can give. So recently, on a slightly different topic, recently I was reading through one of True Father's speeches called "The Sound of the Bell of the Mind." And in it, he briefly mentions about how he never once asked, roughly paraphrasing, he never once asked for God for help or complained about his situation because he knew there was always a reason for his suffering. So I was thinking about this, yeah, just really in awe of True Father's attitude towards his suffering and this kind of absolute trust and faith that whatever's happening to him in his life, it's for a reason, basically. Yes, I'm super in awe of that, and I was thinking about that a lot, thinking how can I try to emulate that in my life somehow. After reflecting on that, I decided to do, I guess, sort of like a written exercise where I basically wrote out a list of all the things I felt count as suffering in my life. So I wrote it out on this piece of paper, and I just read over it objectively. And what I got from that, at least, I don't know if this sounds a bit harsh, but what I understood from doing that exercise was that my suffering, in a sense, is not special. So many people in the past and present have experienced the things I'm experiencing and worse, and so things might feel personal when I'm going through them, but at the end of the day, I'm just another person suffering the same things that so many have suffered before me. Instead of wallowing in despair and negativity, it's my task to digest my suffering and see it as an opportunity to grow, which is given to me by God for a reason, even though I might not understand it right now. So this is a short reflection I had recently. I'm going to make it link. So this attitude of trusting is also something that's helped me in my relationship with True Parents. I think my growth in my relationship with True Parents in the last 2 years, has been a big part of my journey, understanding who I am as a second generation, what is my role in this community. It's all kind of in one. And I felt that growth has been super important in understanding that for me. Right, so I've often thought about what it means to be a second gen, of course, as many second gen have thought about in their lives, and what is my role in front of God, what is my role in this community. And earlier this year, I participated on the ILSHIM program, which some people in this room were involved in as well. And I was actually a team leader. I wasn't a participant, but because it was the first program, and, out of favor, out of goodness of their hearts, they gave the team leaders rings as well. So I've got one here, and there's a lot of other people around my age, who are team leading and also got those rings. That was a really good experience, because I didn't get to experience ILSHIM at a younger age. So on ILSHIM, I felt that actually I gained a lot from it, even though I was a team leader. And I felt like that was the only time I could begin to understand what lineage means. Thinking about the whole idea of engrafting, being a second generation, and who I am to True Parents. So that has been quite integral in my understanding of True Parents. And when things are a bit unknown or like a bit of a puzzle, it's difficult to have an open attitude, especially if you feel some kind of pressure. And I think I can't speak for all second generation, but growing up, I did feel like a pressure to be super passionate about true parents in the way that first generation are, and have a specific kind of relationship with true parents. And to me, despite respecting that, I felt almost like I didn't really understand and a bit constricted, and felt like maybe I didn't have the freedom to explore that myself in my own way. But around this time last year, I received some advice from an auntie, first-gen auntie, about seeking a relationship with true parents. She said to go forward with an openness to the possibility of having a close relationship with them, rather than leading with doubt or cynicism. Having this openness of heart towards this thing that I don't really understand. Looking back, I can definitely say I'm closer to true parents than I was a year ago. And I know it's because of my conscious effort, but I also know that without that guidance, it would have taken me a lot longer, or it may have never happened. So through my experience of getting to know true parents a bit better, I realised that maybe I don't need to understand everything right now. And as long as I have an open attitude, I can move forward in faith. Many things might not seem logical to me, but the more I just move forward with faith, the more I encounter things I would have never expected to experience. So with these kind of realizations, I feel that I've started to understand a bit more. True Mother says, the best position to be in to create one world is to situate yourselves where you can closely receive true parents' tradition. God is our parent, and if true parents are the true parents, you have to know true parents' teachings. So that sums up what has been quite important to me pretty well. Reading true parents' words and making the effort, setting conditions, making the effort to read and study and question and pray about it. Since I never really had personal experiences with true parents and I'm just hearing from other people's experiences, I feel, it's important for me to learn about them in the way that I can, which is through their words. On ODP+, there was many stories about true parents that were told, which were actually really valuable for me to hear, and I think helped me see true parents in a more human way, which definitely helped in my understanding of them. So I'm super grateful for the stories that First Gen passed down, and that's super valuable, but at the same time I need to create my own relationship. So that's been important to me in understanding my role. Over time I've begun to feel more and more grateful that I have access to true parents' words. I'm kind of thinking about how a lot of the world don't have access to these things and this truth, and this kind of inspiration. I'm feeling really lucky, especially as I begin to approach things with a more open mind. As I said, it's allowing me to reach new realizations. And a similar reflection I want to share is the feeling that my life is not about me. So True Father says that in order to revolutionize this world, we must be able to remove the concept of I as the principal being. So, my life is not about me. So let me explain that. So by that I mean, firstly, I'm here because of my ancestors. True Father says, you may think you constitute your own self, but you have countless ancestors. In order for you to come to this place, numerous ancestors devoted themselves for you. So this understanding that I may appear to be one person to myself, or to other people I may appear to be one person, but I'm representing a whole multitude of people who have gone through so many things, experienced many things, who have different talents, qualifications, abilities, personalities, and backgrounds. So I'm here because of my ancestors. So as True Father says many times, I can't really boast about that, right? We can't boast about anything, is what he says a lot. Boast about your existence or your knowledge or who you are, because it's all because of the people before you. Secondly, I'm here because of the influence and presence of people in my life at every stage. So my family, my friends, this community that I've grown up in, this consistent influence, consistent presence in my life. So I have been molded and shaped because of the input of other people. And thirdly, as a human being, I'm a relational being, and I'm not meant to exist for myself. So I want to talk about a realization I had during a YSP event in Stanton-Fitzwarren earlier this year. We were there to clear up the woods and make a nice path, and make it just look more beautiful and more accessible for people to visit. I spent some time in the fields. There's some beautiful fields there. I spent some time there by myself with a journal, and I was writing in that journal. I remember writing on one of the pages, at the top of the page I wrote, "Who am I really?" This question often pops into my mind a lot. Who am I? What am I? What's the essence of who I am? And on the left, I started writing a list of what I'm not, kind of trying to go at it with process of elimination. So what am I not? I wrote what I wear, how I look, what I do, what I say, how I feel. And I was writing this list. And I remember lying down in the field and looking up at the sky and sort of feeling the earth holding me, feeling this absolute strength of the earth underneath me, and feeling that what I am is a part of something big. I'm a part of creation, I'm a part of the universe, I'm a part of a whole, a part of a consciousness, a part of a community. And the only way I can really exist is in relation to everything around me. So, yeah, soon after this, I remember reading something from True Father's words that said a similar thing. He said, "When we take a moment away from all the complications of the world and quietly reflect upon ourselves, we realize that we are relational beings. Every part of the body moves for the purpose of relationship." And then I remember, after writing that list of what I'm not, I started to write a list of what I could be, or what I am. And on that same page, I wrote, in that list, I wrote a puzzle piece, a connecting link, a stage in a cycle, and some other things. But those were kind of, when I was looking back on this page that I wrote, those are things that stood out to me. Yeah, I feel that I have a role to play in continuing True Parents' lineage and in contributing to God's providence. And I realized that actually what I do or do not do affects God's providence. From my current understanding, it seems to me that God's love for me will never really change, regardless of even if I do absolutely nothing in my life. But what will be affected is the progress of humanity. What will be affected is God's providence. If I do nothing, my unique position and abilities would have been wasted, and the task that I was supposed to fulfill will have to be given to someone else. And in this process, time is wasted, and my descendants inherit the tasks I should have completed and the problems that I should have resolved. So the question now is, do I care about God's providence? Do I care about my descendants? And if I do care, then I realize it has to be me, and I can't say no to the things God asks of me. So yeah, on ODP Plus, Uncle Mike and Auntie Fumiko actually visited for a day and gave a talk. There were many talks on ODP Plus, but I just want to mention this short talk that Uncle Mike gave. He said quite a few things that struck me. On ODP Plus, I was in this headspace of thinking a lot about what my purpose is and kind of, pondering on that, how to approach my purpose and what God wants of me. And in Uncle Mike's talk, he said a few things that, struck me especially. He asked, basically, that he was giving an example about True Mother and saying that she was asking herself, who am I to God? And he was kind of meaning to apply that to all of us listening, like for us to ask ourselves, who are we to God? And he said, God is very interested in us. True Mother is interested in what we're going to do. And God sees something in us that he needs to make the world better. So that was some of the things I wrote down from his talk and that I wanted to share, because I feel that, this all kind of ties into my perspective on myself and my role, and why I feel it's important for me to be part of this community and to give what I have to give. And I just want to end saying that it's quite an interesting paradox. Like I owe everything to the people before me and around me and after me, but at the same time, what I do in my life is very important. And so I feel like from this place of understanding, it seems that everything you do would become a thank you or a gesture of gratitude to others and to God and to True Parents and to your ancestors and for the sake of your descendants. And you would view yourself as lowly in the sense that you have nothing to boast about. But at the same time, you view yourself highly because you know that you're in a serious position as a child of God, and therefore you have an important purpose to fulfill. So, that kind of concludes my reflection on why I feel I'm here and why I feel I should be part of this community. I hope I could touch on the title a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna finish there, and I'm gonna invite up Aryan to continue. Thank you for listening.
Wow. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good. Wow. I feel like we've had 3 messages already. At one point during that talk, I thought, should I just say to Cindy, let's move it, let's wrap it up for today. I will talk next time. But my name's on the screen, so it's a bit late to back out now. So hopefully you're ready to hear some more. I know you've been loaded with a lot of good content already. And thank you very much, Cindy. Once again, let's give another round of applause for that talk. But yeah, anyway, now it's my turn. Hopefully, it doesn't look too bad after that. And yeah, so as has been established already a few times, Cindy and I are the new service coordinators here in central London. And it's a responsibility, but it's a responsibility that I'm really excited about because it gives me, it gives us the opportunity to try to do things that we want to do in this community. And I think Kieran did a fantastic job as the service coordinator, and we want to continue that tradition that he established and make little changes here and there to hopefully make it even better. So today I wanted to talk to you about our plan as service coordinators, the sort of culture that we want to create here in our community, and the vision that we have as well in terms of what we want to accomplish. So yeah, as you can see, the title is Giving Freely and Receiving Gratefully. And I'll get into that a bit more. Cindy already covered it quite well. We're going to be repeating some of the same points, but it's about thinking about what we can do to make the community better instead of waiting for the community to do something for us. Yeah, so one part of my plan for this community is to try to help it expand. Today, it looks very nice. I'm very happy to see all of your faces here, and hello to everyone who's joining us online as well. And it's good, but I would like to see even more people, starting with my own family. I mean, my sister's here today, so I'm very happy about that. But I couldn't even convince my brothers yesterday to join us here instead of going to the Peace Embassy in South London. Unfortunately, this has become my reality. It's a weekly conversation I seem to have with them. And it got me thinking about why is it that they go to South London instead of here? What do they have in South London that we don't have here? I know it's a difficult point to reflect on. But one thing I noticed is how eager they are to go to South London. They really want to go there. And I thought, that's what everyone who goes to South London has that in common. Whenever I speak to them about going to service in South London and they don't feel that they have to drag themselves there, they're really happy to go there. They want to be there. And I think that's infectious. If one person really feels animated about going to that service, people can see, oh, wow, look, he or she looks really excited about that service. There's probably something for me to gain from it as well. There's something for me to be excited about. And I thought that's what we need to create here in central London, or I guess in our North of Thames communities. We want to be communities that people are eager to be part of, that they're happy to invite their friends to, that they're proud to call their own community. And I started thinking about how can we do that? How can we make this a community that I'm already very proud of this community, I have to say. Somebody told me the other day that they think that I'm almost a part of South London because I go there when we don't have service here, and that really hurt me. If I'm honest, I consider myself a member of the Central London community or the North of Thames community. Ooh, and I'd like everyone to feel that way about our community. We've got something really great here, and I want to share that with those around us. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice. It's good. I can see a few of you feel the same way about our community. But yeah, how can we create this excitement, and how can we invite others to be part of it? I think that comes with creating a culture of responsibility and giving freely in our community. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen, I've done it in the past, seen somebody give a sermon that was sort of last minute, and they feel like rushed, and it just seems like, oh, no one was willing to take part in this service this week. And it kind of happened as well with the Hunduke call earlier this week, where Uncle William was asking people on the chat to host the call in the morning, and nobody stepped up. And it felt a bit strange. And I felt no one really likes that when they see that things have been done last minute and people have to force themselves to be involved, that kind of attaches this stigma or this aura to the service. Whereas if it looks really well prepared and people really want to be there, other people also connect to that feeling. So I thought that in this community, I'd really like to establish a culture of giving freely. So for example, we have a service 2 weeks from now, and if anybody feels inspired, you could approach Cindy or myself and say, Aryan, you know what? I really like to talk. Or maybe even if you didn't like my talk, I feel like I need to give something to the community. I want to give freely. I think next time when we're here on Sunday, the crowd will appreciate that. They will realize, yeah, the person who's speaking is speaking because they want to, not because they were asked to and they felt, oh, I have to, and the responsibility is mine. I want there to be good energy up on the stage. If you want to be in the band, don't feel that, oh, I'm not in the band often, so maybe I shouldn't put my name forward. Just say, yeah, look, I'm here. I want to be involved. I want to contribute to this community. I want to be part of the band. I want to make food. I want to help Joseph at the back with the tech. Let's give a round of applause for Joseph. Because I think Joseph is one of the people who came to mind when I thought of who's already doing this, who's already giving freely to the community. He seems to be here early every single week and is a really vital part of the community. So we appreciate you, Joseph. And so we need to take ownership of our community. We need to be responsible for it. And I think that this is how we can replicate the success that we see in South London. I don't want to put South London down. I want to bring ourselves up. I want to bring this community up to be on their standard or maybe even surpass them. But I don't want that to be because South London gets any worse. I want us to become better. And I think we definitely have the people to do that. If I look around this room, we've got a great crowd here, very capable people. And I think people who probably share this feeling with me. Everybody here wants the best for this community. And it's just about being a bit more active instead of passive, like Cindy was talking about, in making that happen, in making real substantial improvements to our community. And that's why I said yes to taking on this responsibility when Kieran asked me about it. I wasn't like Cindy. I didn't have some realization in the morning that, God spoke to me. Kieran spoke to me. It wasn't God. But God could speak through Kieran, I guess. And, because I really do love this community, I felt, I have to take this on. If I love this community, I will do something to serve it. So that's why I said yes to taking on this responsibility. And I was reminded of a quote from John F. Kennedy about ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I really like that quote. I remember the first time I heard it, it really resonated with me. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. And I just want to apply that to our community. So not ask not what this community can do for you, but ask what you can do for this community. And I think that's how we can make it really exciting to be here on a Sunday. That's how we can have fun and make the most of our community. So I envision a community in which we freely give and gratefully receive. And I think the gratefully receiving part is just as important as the freely giving part. So recently, actually, I went to a talk by Jordan Peterson in Wembley with Paolo, actually, and some other BCs. And it was fantastic. I've been watching Jordan Peterson online for many years. And to see him in person, it was a great experience. But one of the main points he made was the importance of gratefully receiving. And I'm sure you all know, the more you can be grateful for what's around you, the happier you tend to be because you see more reasons to be happy as well. But it also means that when you show your appreciation, the other person feels, oh, look, they noticed. I went out of my way to do this, or even if it's a small detail. And they feel incentivized. They feel incentivized to give you more reasons to be grateful because now there's some give and take. They're giving freely and you're gratefully receiving, and that just inspires the cycle to start again. So that's why we came up with this title of giving freely and gratefully receiving, and that's what I hope to see here in our community. So I wrote something down. I quite like it, so I'm just going to read it up. So let's create a community that revolves around give and take action with God at the center to spread joy and happiness to those around us and to each other. Thank you for listening.